Man, Facebook want to mess up again. I'm gonna try. You know what? It's okay. Whatever. It's okay. It's fine. It's dandy. Well, all right, cool. Everything else though, we are back. We are live. Welcome to another North Carolina Live with your co-host. I am the captain of the Hooligan Express, the ever so goofy, ever dyslexic, ever majestic Tornado McCray. Mine McCray. Some people might know me, and that over there is that guy.
Yo, what's good? What's happening? How you living? It's your boy Ricebox26 coming at you again. And we are live with another North Carolina Live, coming at you with some cool updates, some hot takes, and some potato bakes.
And please be sure, if you would rather enjoy this podcast actually or just audio and not look at our faces, we are available on YouTube, on Anchor, Spotify, and all the available listening platforms, just like where you like to go. For those of you on Twitter, hey, hope you're seeing this too, and everything in between. So, man, how you feeling? How you living? How your day been going? How you chewing?
It was a day. I can say that.
It was a day.
Yeah, it was a day. Cause some work updates, things of that nature. Because originally, like some plans that we had for my job ain't exactly go the way that we were wanting it to go, but that's okay.
It's fine. It's dandy. We're gonna be all
changes right. Changes had to be made, and changes are being made, so no worries.
And guys, if you are new here, please be sure, just know you can join us every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Well, when Facebook wants to act right, and everything in between. We are right here doing our thing. I don't know what he got going on over there. Oh, it must be. Is it the little one? Is it my nephew?
It is. What are you
doing? Listen, he having a ball, bro. Let him be great. Let my nephew be great.
You should have saw when he came around the corner. He was like,
hey, he's in there. Hey, Dad, what you got going on?
Listen.
Look at him being a good father.
Time for you know you might know how your mama feels about you being on camera, so you can't be on camera. Say night night to the people. Say night night. No, we're not grabbing them. No.
Hey, he said, I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. Demure. Bro, he said he ready for I know mom's. Well, it's down to just one. One is the oh, never mind. Yeah, I'll save my solo for another day, guys.
But like you saw him come around, he's doing this.
Listen, I'm telling you, little man's ready for his close-up. He's ready to make his presence known. And I get moms. I get my sister-in-law. She ain't about none of that. I understand why.
Listen, ready for his North Carolina Live debut. And unfortunately, today ain't it.
It ain't it. But man, couple things on the docket, few things that have been addressed, and we're gonna get right into it. And the first thing, I know you've talked about this in recent memory.
Yes.
But direct deposit is officially approved in the college sports landscape, man.
So recently, very recently, it has been approved through court system, through legal litigation, that the college football space will be able to directly pay their players.
Oh, this is all sports.
That's what I'm saying. Well, I said college football.
You said college football.
Well, college sports in general will be able to pay their players, and it is a long time coming for a lot of people, especially when it comes down to because I don't unforesee people like Reggie Bush and a couple of other athletes that got punished for getting paid during their times probably suing for their piece of the pie. Because to be honest, you owe them.
Yeah,
Reggie, because like I
yeah,
said, what y'all did to him over some autographs, but that's neither here nor there. So as of what was it, Friday last week,
yep.
legal
As of
settlement has
Friday.
officially been approved. All schools can begin to pay their athletes directly. And starting July 1st, each school will be allowed, but not required, to spend roughly $20.5 million in new payments to the athletes. And this is what we were talking about when it came down. As the figure comes from a negotiated formula that caps athletes' payment at 22% of the average annual revenue that FBS level schools get from ticket sales, broadcast rights, and a few other items, such as like merchandise sales, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Probably concessions too. Each school is
Concessions, TV sales, broadcast. You
yeah,
know the works.
yeah, you can just say broadcast rights, TVs, like all that stuff. Each school's athletic department can decide on how it will divide that money among the athletes. So this may
That's
or
going to
may
lead
not.
to some issues. That's
It's gonna
honestly going to lead to some
it's
issues if
probably
they.
it's gonna lead to some issues amongst the players because it's gonna be like I play every down or I've been a starter for the last 3 years and you ride bench. How are you getting more money than me?
Not even that. Like the next aspect, because as we have in the notes, it's like most major programs, like they obviously haven't disclosed how they're going to do their budget, but for the ones that have, they've said that majority 90% of their money is going to go to football and men's basketball. And that's why I say that right there is going to be an issue and it's going to need to be addressed because I'm all for having all right, schools have this amount of money to spend on their players. Like the fact that they came up with the
Right.
20.5 million thing, cool, perfectly fine. Not putting in legalities to be like, all right, you have to divvy this up equally. So the all the people that bring in revenue to your school get paid equally. And I understand college football and college basketball are the biggest two commodities. I'm not stupid. I get those usually bring in the most money to universities. However, when you also take into account that a lot of other sports over the last 25, 35, 45 years have just now have become a college athletic sport, and a lot of them are generating revenue. For example, women's college basketball. That's been the most watched tournament over the last 4 years. It hasn't been the men's tournament. Women's basketball has been
Well,
what everybody's been watching.
which
So
is fair, but which is fair on how you're saying it. But I think the way that this is probably going to get divvied up is based on what each individual sport is bringing in revenue wise by comparison. Because yes, I agree for sure that women's basketball, especially the women's March Madness tournament, has been the most watched over the last couple of years by comparison to the men's, because the men's hasn't been exciting. It's been more predictable over the last couple of years by comparison. So a
that's
lot
what
of
I'm
people aren't
saying,
trying to
bro.
watch it. But when it comes down to between the two, which one is making you more money, you still kind of got to say, like, yeah, the women's is getting more TV money and probably more ticket sales, but you're selling more merchandise based off of the men's.
I
You don't
get
see
that,
as many people wear, and I'm saying you don't see as many people wearing women's basketball like merchandise and things of that nature. And at the end of the day, how is that going to balance itself out? I think eventually after a couple of years of it being in practice, they'll get that balanced out. And I do believe when it comes down to the women's sports, that yeah, it's going to start off lower on the beginning, but as it continues to pick up steam like it's doing, I feel like that percentage is going to keep rising and rising as the more it keeps picking up more steam.
in a
Do I
in an
foresee it?
ideal world, in an ideal world it should, but
I
I think
think
you
it's
were
going to
about to
be
say
women's.
like
I was going to say I think women's basketball is going to be somewhere around the probably like the third or fourth highest paying category.
it'll go
It'll
because
go
the way it's gonna
men's
go, it'll
football,
be
go football,
football, men's
men's
basketball,
basketball,
women's
baseball,
basketball, No,
and
I
then
think
women's basketball.
I think women's basketball beats out baseball because think about it.
I hope it does.
Just because think about it,
my hope,
even over the last couple of weeks, neither one of us have been tracking the super regionals and things like that. Sorry, UNC. I'm sad we lost this weekend to Arizona in that close nail biter. But nobody was tracking like the super regionals for men's baseball. Honestly, we were tracking softball more than baseball.
This is true. We were tracking
softball more than baseball.
And
so,
like I said before, I believe women's basketball is going to be either the third or fourth highest paid sport out of by category. Because then it's probably going to end up being, because like I said, after women's basketball, it's probably going to be like, it may end up being either softball or baseball.
Yeah, it'll be. If I had to make money,
may get lacrosse. You may get
lacrosse is going to be on the up and coming. Lacrosse is probably going to be in there because Final Four hockey doesn't get as much coverage as it should. Like college hockey, the Frozen Four doesn't get as much coverage as it should. Like it does in the northern states. Like any state at the top of the country usually covers it because honestly, let's be real, those states are generally the ones that are dominating hockey in college in the college land space. So it'll be like
play hockey more often than anybody else.
So it's like hockey, then probably lacrosse, then I'd probably put men's wrestling, and then women's gymnastics.
I'd actually probably put women's gymnastics over men's wrestling.
Only reason why is because I hear more about. I generally hear more about men's wrestling tournaments in the college level more than I hear about collegiate gymnastics tournaments. Now, when we get to the Olympics, it's all about women's gymnastics. But now, out of the college level, one of the few names I know from collegiate that was a collegiate gymnast is Caitlin Ohashi. I know that name for a fact.
You got Caitlin Ohashi. You got old girl from Auburn, because she was just at the Knicks, like the Eastern Conference Finals games. Sonny Lee. Yeah, Sonny Lee was there.
Yeah, Sonny Lee was on. But like I said, you don't hear about him you don't hear about him in season. That's what I'm saying. Like,
so the funny thing about that is I hear more, at least from my feeds, I hear more about women's gymnastics than I do men's wrestling. I don't hear about men's wrestling hardly ever.
Oh, bro.
Even at the collegiate space. I don't even hear about it that much during the Olympics.
I be looking I won't say I be looking for it, but I will say my feed, because I look for women's gymnastics just like I try to look for wrestling and everything. And I'm like, dang, why didn't I hear about like Caitlin Ohashi more in college? Why didn't I hear about Sonny Lee more in college? Why didn't I hear? Because there was a young black lady from LSU a few years ago that was phenomenal. I wish I heard about her more in college.
Oh yeah,
but wrestling every year I hear a story about wrestling. It's like, all right, 3-time defending state champ, the dude who tried to go 4 years straight but lost in the championship because he had like 134 winning streak or something like that. Like I keep getting these stories every year.
Like he was the last person I heard of, and I think that was like 2 years ago.
Like his mom broke her glasses when he lost because she was
because when it comes down to I hear more about lacrosse, I hear more about soccer, I hear more about gymnastics, I hear more about every other sport at the collegiate level. Dang near they separate. I don't see anything coming through any of my news feeds.
I know you don't hear nothing about golf. I know you don't hear nothing about collegiate golf.
I hear about golf.
Where? Okay, now we lying.
That's what I'm saying.
Now we lying, bro. Ain't no way.
Let's be clear on it. It's very rare. Very rare when I see it. But I see more articles about a golf thing than I've seen about wrestling.
I think you got a ban. I think you got a wrestling ban on your feed. That's what you got. Bro.
I don't know.
You got college wrestling blacklisted. You TikTok your college wrestling off your feed. That's what that is.
I don't blacklist college wrestling. Now it may not be high up on my list of interests, but neither is golf. So I'm just I don't know.
That man college wrestling. Yeah, nah, bump all that.
Like y'all are both in the same box for me. So I'm like, I don't know how in the world one of them is out doing the other. But I'm just saying.
Hey, your feed said, yeah, nah. Hey, that man like college golf. He don't want wrestling.
My phone
You
was,
don't want
he was
that.
like, he was like, you're not really gonna watch midnight like Monday Night Raw at all. You got it on the list, but you're not gonna watch it. We're gonna go ahead and just remove all of this. Maybe gonna remind
Hey,
you that it's
listen.
on tonight. We're just gonna remove it for you.
He's like, listen, grown men in tights. Yeah, that ain't your forte. You don't want to watch. You don't want to watch men in singlets.
No,
But I
not
ain't gonna
really.
lie, bro. I ain't gonna honestly,
It's
bro.
tough.
Now I will say this, and this is coming from a guy who wrestled in middle school. Listen,
Like I tried
the
wrestling in high school.
techniques used in wrestling,
Tough.
bro.
Tough stuff,
Tough,
bro.
A1. I loved wrestling. Only reason I didn't continue it in high school was because it was the same time as basketball season. In Alaska, I was able to do it because basketball was the first part of winter before Christmas break in middle school, and wrestling was the second part after winter break. So I was able to do both.
Ain't nobody's trying to be out on those ice fields for football season. We know it.
Oh no, listen, bro. Because at the end of the day, it was
trying
like,
to be in
listen,
6 foot deep snow.
Listen, I love playing in snow. I don't care.
Games.
That's what I did at recess all the time.
I do too.
That's what I did at recess. But it's like, but it was like I could do those two things, and I learned a lot in wrestling, and a lot of the techniques were just amazing. So yeah, I keep wrestling. Collegiate wrestling definitely stays on my tab, but I get what you're saying. And when it comes down to it, as much as I would like it evened out and everybody get paid accordingly and everybody get their fair share, because at the end of the day, they're all bringing money to this university.
Of course.
They're all bringing money to this university. And I'm like, we all at the end of the day doing the same sacrifice, regardless of your sport. You're all getting up for 5 a.m., 4 a.m. workouts. You're all going to the training staff. You're all doing weightlifting, weight training. You're all having to go to study hall. You're all having to do these projects. You're all having to make sure you're eating right. You're all having to go on these road trips, X, Y, and Z, regardless of the sport you're playing. That's why in an ideal world, I would have had some provisions put to where they have to divvy this up evenly amongst all the sports that the school has. But in a capitalistic world, I understand why some sports will get more of the pie than others because they do generate more revenue than others. I get it.
Because even coming from like a straight up business standpoint, they're going to look at it like we're going to pay out more to the one that's doing more for us. And it just is what it is. And because there's going to be some, and let's say with the women's basketball thing, there's going to be some schools where the women's basketball program is the smallest earner in the school. So they're probably going to get paid the least.
And there's going to be some where women's basketball is the top earner. UConn.
Mostly.
You know what? That's the thought process I want to think about. What are the schools where you think a different sport is going to be the top earner? Like, I know for a fact, UConn's going to be the top earner for UConn women. That's the top earner up there.
Oh, UConn basketball.
UConn's women. Yeah, UConn, especially women's basketball, that's the top earner up there.
UConn basketball is about to be the top earner. And like part of me would say North Carolina basketball, but it's a new era on the horizon. Things could change up real quick. We'll see what happens.
It's a new era on the horizon, but let's be real. Let's be real and let's be honest. And you and I both know it. North Carolina, one thing we always got, we got hoopers. We might not have always had a football team, but we always got some hoopers. We always got some hoopers.
And the unfortunate piece is the last 3 seasons we've been real mid. But I'm not blaming that on the players. I'm blaming that on some coaching issues. I'm blaming that
not up to our standards.
Because I had to argue with somebody about that a while back about what was going on.
And here's the funny thing. Speaking of not up to our standards and not up to our issues, the next subject, you're going to find this hilarious. So, y'all, there is an angry email that was sent to The Athletic. I want to know which one of you, because I guarantee it might be somebody here watching this podcast right now, sent an angry email to The Athletic to voice their rage about the whole Bill Belichick situation. And
that man said, I am a longtime UNC fan and cannot believe you are stuck with a coach who is clearly being run by a woman who is young enough to be his granddaughter, dominating football practice and interviews. It's ridiculous, won't end well, and makes UNC look foolish.
Now, I'm going to ask, because I read the article, and I'm gonna be real, and I'm honestly talking directly to the Athletic. Is that all the email said? Because if there's more, I would like to know that entire email. Because I feel like
I don't
this
even know
wasn't
the
it.
entire. I don't
I
even
want to
think
know.
because even that little bit kind of makes you look like an idiot. Like nope. I don't even need to
Nah,
see the
bro.
rest of it.
I need
You look
I need
foolish.
the Athletic
This is
to air
foolish.
this out. I need the Athletic to air this out, bro. I need them to air out the entire email because it's funny to me that we've been on this channel. We've talked about it. We've said how crazy Jordan and Bill's relationship has become a distraction because let's be honest, it has. But the fact that y'all out here or somebody's out here sending in angry emails to the Athletic publication, not to a coworker, not in a group chat, not even on a Facebook post. You sent this to a legitimate Athletic publication and they posted an article about it. Dude, that's why I want to know what was fully in that email because I'm sure they get emails like this all the time about angry
they
fans.
get emails like that all the time.
So what
Like,
made them post this email? I need to know the whole thing, bro. I really do.
Because where is it at? Hold on. Because speaking of that, and I think part of the reason why this came up is because recently Bill had to once again shut down or basically lay out what Jordan's role is at UNC. So, as from College Football HQ, once again, we know all that attention and stuff was going around us. He had to just basically flat out say she doesn't have any role in the UNC football program. There's been noise out there about a lot of different things. Again, our focus is day to day, getting better, stacking good days together, having good rest and recovery training, moving forward to the next day. And somebody said, but while Bill tried to put focus on football, several reports that revealed Hudson's role in managing the coach's publicity, Lord, they had me in a chokehold, have redirected the attention towards her and not in the ways the school has wanted. Because it's like some of these reports reveal that Hudson has tried to request people inside UNC be more aggressive about policing negative comments about Belichick. Then in others that seem to show Hudson's demanded to be named a producer on the prospective Hard Knocks program that would have followed the UNC football team in its preparations for the season. The show was ultimately scrapped as the producers were put off by Hudson's demands, preventing Belichick's team from getting some national exposure ahead of the first of the season. Then came a very awkward interview with CBS. The amount of interest and criticisms of her influence over Bill's taking attention away from his effort to reshape the program. And I said that's why he wants to get the focus back on the team, from the coaching staff to focus on how do we help our team get better, is what it says Belichick. That's my job. That's our staff's job to put a good plan in place so that if they do the work, they see improvement. That's what our job is. And as much as
you're gonna try to stretch this one, y'all. He gonna try to make this work. He gonna reach.
I don't know where I'm gonna be reaching for besides a hammer, but to just bludgeon my brains out for this. At the end of the day, I feel the best thing that should be done at this point is remove her from the facilities entirely. Because it's not in the sense of like banning her, but when you have practices and when you have stuff going on, make sure she's not in the area. Because this is going to continue to drive negative publicity towards Bill and the team, and more publicity that, in my honest opinion, is what she wants for herself. I still am on that same road and that same page of something about this relationship ain't right. And I feel like somebody somewhere is taking advantage of a situation. And
you think it's like the episode of the Boondocks with Cristal and Granddad?
Not even. At least Cristal was telling the truth. Because at least Cristal never hid what Cristal was.
She hid it from Granddad. She never.
Not at
She
all.
never. She didn't fully disclose that until the end of the episode.
She didn't have to. Everybody else knew what was going on. That man was blinded.
Except Granddad.
Except Granddad. Except Granddad.
That's the main person that was affected.
Except Granddad. I know we're not even on this topic, but I needed his name up here. Except Granddad is the only one that's not realizing the same thing everybody else is looking at. Once again, as much as I am mentally drained at the fact that she keeps popping up in these articles and the fact that you have to constantly keep defending her, should tell me that's my thing.
That's his woman. He gonna stick beside her. That's his woman. He gonna stick beside her.
I don't care about none of that. I don't care about none of that.
Why not?
Individual,
why not?
Any individual that you have to constantly and publicly defend, at some point you should think to yourself, maybe they're the problem. We saw what happened.
Hey, were you about to go? Were you in my brain? Did you know who I was about to talk about?
We saw what happened with two of the biggest stars in Hollywood. We saw what happened when you have to constantly keep defending somebody publicly. At some point, you have to start thinking maybe they're the problem.
Oh, I wasn't thinking about that one. I was thinking about the young star that just got drafted. But I know which one you're talking about now.
That one too. and to be honest, he's actually stopped defending her.
Yeah, I ain't heard much about it since
exactly
the wedding.
Once the wedding went on, they text you just before the wedding and all the engagement happened. He stopped defending it. He just ignored it. When you have to keep publicly defending, at some point you have to think maybe they're the problem. And you know how you fix a problem like that? Keep it out of the public.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe she ain't the problem, though. She ain't the problem, though. Like, listen, that's his woman. As he said, he just feels good. He feels right. Like, she ain't the problem.
See, that's why you can't even keep a straight face, because you know you lying. You know you stretching it. You know if you talk about me reaching, this one here is reaching. Talk about she ain't the problem. I understand that's his woman, and that's okay. Man. Stick beside her. I don't care. I don't care if he stays with her to the rest of his days.
All 7 of them.
All 7 of them. I don't care. I don't care if it's 7 years, 7 days, 7 months, however long it is. The problem is, at some point, Bill Belichick needs to start being Bill Belichick and ignoring the media. Or at this point, have a conversation at home about where she needs to be and at what time. Because if I see you out talking some random nonsense, or if I see your name in another news article that involves this team, I'm taking the houses back.
You think
that portfolio is going from 8 million to 1 million real quick?
You think she'd be trying to get Bill out the house to go into the club scene? Imagine Bill Belichick. Hey, imagine Bill Belichick. Imagine Bill Belichick at a club scene. Like, yeah, that's my girl. What?
Yeah, I'm with that.
Hey, oh, that's your granddaughter, right? You celebrating her college? No, that's my girlfriend. Hold up.
That's my girlfriend. That one guy, okay, OG. Let me find out.
Hey, let me find out. Everybody in the back.
Somebody hyping him. Somebody's like, yeah.
It's bad.
That way, old man.
Here's
$20.
You know it was a black dude that was hyping him up. Okay, I see you. I see you, OG.
Him and that one white kid that he's been hanging out with for like the last 20 years.
Right.
You know, they the two cutting up in the middle of everything. But anyway, moving on.
I hate the fact that my house been chilly all day, and then as soon as we do this podcast, now I want to get hot.
All of the lights. His idea mill and creative muse.
Shut up.
Whatever.
But truth be told, somebody agrees with you though, because big eared Elvis himself,
Elvis.
I can't stand. Like when you talk about a chrome dome, you think I'm bad. Megamind over here puts me to shame.
You talking about Timon XL?
Listen, double XL. What you talking about? But Paul Feinbaum actually kind of agrees with you, and honestly, me too, because he was on ESPN's Get Up recently, and he had a message directly for Bill Belichick. He said, I'm going to go where I shouldn't go. But then again, we're talking about Bill Belichick. He's fired coaches, gotten rid of great players, separated from the greatest quarterback of all time. It's time for Bill Belichick to fire his girlfriend. Listen, I'm happy for them, but North Carolina hired him because he's a great coach, not to be a distraction. He's a major distraction right now in this game of football. I'm sorry. Oh, now I'm going to say this.
Go ahead and give him his props.
As a man who, oh my God.
I was going to hurt. Go ahead and give him his props.
I can't stand Paul Feinbaum, bro. He knows. He knows I absolutely can't stand Paul Feinbaum because honestly, Paul Feinbaum is the type of analyst who he'll say some outlandish take, and when he's wrong, he can never come out and say he was just flat wrong. He'll always find a way to be like, oh, well, I guess they showed up. Like, no, just admit you were wrong. But in this instance, hell no, I ain't giving that man his props. Yeah. All right, Paul, you're right. I ain't gonna be you. Paul Feinbaum is right here. I gotta give the man credit where credit is due.
That's really the biggest problem right now, and like I said, I hate having to talk. I hate having to bring her up, and I hate that she's getting put into all these situations. But the problem is, once again, when you get to a point where you're when you're supposed to be having interviews about football, where you're supposed to be having these press conferences about football, and the fact that she keeps getting brought up in a football conversations is a problem, because now the lines are blurred now. That's the problem.
Do you know how bad of a situation it has to be to where I'm agreeing with Paul Feinbaum? I need y'all to understand this. Do you know how bad of a distraction it has to be to where I agree with Paul Feinbaum, no hesitation?
I'm surprised the ceiling ain't fell in. Anyway,
bro, listen. Hey, listen. I'm waiting for a Cadillac to come crashing through right now, bro, because I'm afraid lightning will strike 3 times. Like this don't make no sense.
Because it's a simple solution. Like I said, remove her from the facilities. If she wants to come visit you, she can visit you in the office, or she can visit you in the cafeteria somewhere.
But here's also what I'm going to say.
Or in the student center somewhere. She cannot be around the football facilities outside of the season. She can be there for game day, but for practices and other football operations, she can't be there.
I'm going to say this, and this is devil's advocate low-key. They're too deep in it. They are too deep to remove her, because here's what's going to happen. If you remove her right now, you remove her, restrict her access, X, Y, and Z. That now becomes a headline. Oh, why does she not have access? Where is she at? What's going on? Is there something wrong with your relationship? X, Y, and Z. Jordan, what happened? Why, did you lose your job? Are you no longer? You see what I'm saying? It's like they are too deep to where if they just straight up cut off all her access and remove her from the facility, that's going to be a distraction.
Like that was already happening when they first brought up the fact that there's a possibility she got banned, that rumor came up. They did the same thing then. I'm going to say this. You're not banning her at all, because what's going to happen is because the easiest way to get around this particular situation, this particular issue is if her and Bill have a conversation, private, one-on-one in their own home or wherever they meet up at, and he decides, hey, best thing right now until the season starts is for you not to come around here because we're starting to get into crunch time. We're starting to get into training camp. Things are going to be ramping up. And right now, we're trying to get the press a little calm down on us. They're going to ask. Of course, you're going to ask. This has been the hottest topic for North Carolina, unfortunately, all summer, really all spring.
Don't ever come around here.
And,
Okay.
and us and the easiest answer to that is we had a conversation and we found out it is best for both of us publicly and privately to keep these two assets of what we're doing separate, so that way we can focus on our own particular goals. She does all her business for my brand and all that separately from the facilities, while I take my time and focus here in the facilities with the team as we continue to prepare for the season and prepare for training camp and get our minds right. So that way, when we start this season off, we can come out, hit the ground running. That's
and
it.
here's the other thing I'll say about this too. Crazy pull that just came in my brain. You don't ever hear about Dabo Sweeney's wife in the facility. You don't hear about Kirby Smart's wife. You didn't hear about Nick Saban's wife like this. You didn't hear even when Urban Meyer had the scandal with the young women down in like Florida, whatnot. That young lady, whoever he was with, wasn't at the facilities where he worked. They got caught up because it was at the bar.
Because like I said earlier, the lines have been blurred between what is work and what is personal. And she continues to include herself in his work, making it seem like this is a personal thing. You don't need to be here for that. If you're supposed to be handling all his media stuff when it comes down to his book and his interviews about his book, you don't need to be at the facility for that. You can do that from your living room. You could be anywhere else but where the practices are being held. You don't need to be there. All that prep and all that, you do not need to be there. If you want to contact him about, hey, I have an interview possibility, I have this media possibility for you, guess what you can do? Text, phone call, or email, especially since they email you anyway.
And the other thing about it too is it's a situation where when you have somebody as high profile as that, you want to be as little of a distraction as possible. Like regardless of who's doing the breadwinning. Because I can give multiple examples. Serena Williams' husband, Alex Ohanian. Yes, the man is successful in his own endeavors, but you rarely hear about him causing dilemmas for Serena at her tennis matches. So, let's be real. Brittany Mahomes, as much as we might get on her, you know what she's never really doing outside of football? She ain't causing that much of a big distraction for Patrick. Now, his brother and his dad, that's different. But Brittany ain't causing no issues. And then Jonathan Owens and Simone Biles, they are just supportive of each other. Wherever they don't cause any issues for the one or the other at their places of work.
At all. And
I
think that's one of those things. That's a level of maturity she hasn't hit yet. Sure, you've been out and you've done this and you've done that. Great. But the best thing for you to do right now is be hands-on by being hands-off.
We're not telling you to shut up. We're just telling you just know there's a time and place.
Exactly. Talk from a distance.
There's a time. There's a time and place, and it's like obviously we're not telling you to shut up and disappear and don't say anything. No, we all know you're his girl. We all know you're his partner right now. And when there's a time and place, or if there's something to do, like you said, with the book that you're handling, you have all the right to speak up. You have all the right to be seen. If there's an event where he said, I want her by my side for X, Y, and Z, cool. But right now, when the focus is supposed to be on college football and Bill Belichick getting the North Carolina Tar Heels ready for their first season under him as head coach, the last thing anybody wants to see, the front office, Bill, the team, or anything, is the fact that every news cycle story that comes out is about my coach's girlfriend. We ain't even talking about me as a player. We ain't talking to me as an assistant coach. We barely talking about me as the president. We talking about my coach's girlfriend on a bi-weekly basis.
That's really the biggest issue. It probably wouldn't have been that bad. It wouldn't have been this big of a deal had this been season 3 for him.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's not. This is his first season here. This is his first season in college football. All eyes are on North Carolina. Everybody is picking through the mess with a fine-tooth comb.
They're looking for a reason to talk bad about, because that's the thing.
A fine-tooth comb because they want something.
Even as NFL fans,
distraction.
Even as NFL fans, we used to try and find a reason to not Bill Belichick, Spygate, Deflategate, whatever the case may be. Like, we would always try to find a reason. Now, at the college level, it's basically free season because, like we just said, they're looking for it. And you have this big distraction of this 72, 75-year-old man dating this 26-year-old girl going into a college facility, going into a college team for the first time ever in his career. And that's all we've been talking about because constantly stuff keeps happening. It's not like it's still back when they first got together and nothing's happened since. That'd be different. At that point, I would be dragging the media if literally nothing has happened since the announcement of, oh, yeah, we're officially together. Like, she hasn't been in the media. That interview didn't happen. There hasn't been like a back and forth. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because at that point, I'd be getting on the media for just dragging this storyline. It's like, yeah, we know it's weird. What can we do? But
yeah,
the fact that constant stuff keeps coming up is what makes this weird.
Yeah, because the same thing happens to brand new coaches, even in the NFL. Because we'll even take what's happened. I said between Dave Canales and Raheem Morris going to Atlanta and Carolina, respectively. It's like you got to remember that first year, everybody was waiting to find something to knock them down. Like, this is the reason why they shouldn't have been this. This is the reason why they can't be trusted.
We benched our franchise quarterback by week 2. Canales made a bold decision. Like, what?
They got on the Raheem Morris for his poor decision making when decisions needed to be made. Time management was a big problem for him. Making decisions went down the stretch when they talked about replacing him with Kirk Cousins for Michael Penix. All that was happening. So it's like anytime you have a first-year coach anywhere, you have to remember they're looking for everything they can to try to discredit why you shouldn't be here. And right now, just like we've all said, this girlfriend thing has become too much of an issue.
Way too much.
Way too much of an issue.
But we're going to go ahead and get into the next issue because that's not only the issue is because I know you talked about Grandpa down here. I know you talked about him.
Yeah.
But he was recently on the College Game Day podcast talking about what the biggest adjustment is for him going from the NFL to the NCAA, right? And for those of you listening, here's what he had to say. He's like, I think it'll be less volume, fewer plays, fewer calls, fewer adjustments, but you're looking at fewer on the other side too. It's just not as expensive quite as much. A lot of that has to do with the quarterbacks. You look at quarterbacks like Brady and Mahomes and Rodgers and guys like that have double-digit years of experience can do a lot. In college, you get a 4 or 5 year player. That guy's got a really big leg up on a kid with 1 or 2 years of experience. And then the next thing he was talking about was special teams and the new kicking rule. Apparently, there's a new kicking rule that for college football this year where they're allowing rugby-style kicks as well. Which that's what I thought. I'm gonna be honest. I have to go look more into that aspect of it because I was like, wait, what? And I meant to go look more into that to have notes about it.
Because isn't the rugby-style kick the rollout kicks?
I want to say, but I think there's a difference. I haven't looked at the rules. I'm going to be honest with you. I ain't going to lie to you. But he said it's an interesting concept. Certainly some teams in college have done very well with it, and it's just in general the kicking game, I would say skills of the specialists have improved dramatically both in college and professional football. We know Bill takes special teams very seriously. So my question to you, based off the noise that he's saying, like, there's a big difference between experience and youth essentially because you have fewer plays. Do you think that's going to lead Bill to trying to recruit more experienced guys in the portal, or do you think he's going to stay committed to try and getting freshmen or high school seniors to buy into the program and stay for 4 years?
I think I think he's going to try to do both and try to find some kind of balance with it. But I think he's probably going to lean more into relying more on like his juniors and seniors and trying to keep them in the program. So that way, when he does have newer guys come in, he already has that kind of leadership and people that he's like, hey, we can start. This is what we got. This is who we're here. So I don't have to worry about having to build up new guys as often.
So you think
it's like, sure, he's going to go and recruit some experienced guys from the portal because if you don't, like, honestly, if you don't, the success, like the percentage of success that you'll have is pretty low unless your name is Dabo Sweeney. Unless you're able to get people to buy in like Dabo, is your chances of being a successful program continue to drop every year if you don't hit the portal.
So you think he's going to have a system? So you think he's going to have a more old school system where, yeah, you may come in as a freshman, but your likelihood of getting playing time is probably going to be, unless you're just superstar balling out, probably isn't going to come as much until you've gained that experience, understand the concepts fully, and you're ready to hit the ground running like a junior and a senior.
I think that's how he's going to treat it. Sure, I think he's going to go and dip into the portal for players and for positions where he needs the experience more. Like if you have let's say you go into the season and you have 2 freshman defensive tackles because your more experienced guys are gone or graduated. I see him going through the portal to try to fill that with more experience because I need the experience. Like, sure, the freshmen still may have a leg up on some of the newer guys coming in because they already understand the defense better. But me bringing in the experience was going to let me have at least somebody that might be able to learn it quicker, already kind of familiarize themselves with certain concepts because they've been in it for longer. So that way I can just kind of plug and play some guys. But no, I feel like he's going to be more of like the old school. The longer you're here, the better off you may be.
Here's my thing about that. And I will say, I feel as though that could in turn backfire for him in the college landscape. And I say that because a lot of these kids nowadays, you and I both know, they want to play now. They want to start now. We've gotten to the era of, oh, I was a 5-star, 4-star, balling out at my school. This coach promised me I could start right away. And let's be honest, that's a little bit of an ego because we all had that dream. You want to be a freshman starting with the juniors and seniors. Boom. Right away. You're impatient. You're 18-year-old, 17-year-old, 18-year-old kid who's impatient and you feel like you can prove yourself and you're good enough right now. And sometimes you don't see the long game and the waiting game and what coach is trying to prepare you for. And so with that, I think it could bite him in the butt because he's going to lose, I'll say 30% of whatever freshmen he recruits and brings in each year. Just based off, oh, coach ain't going to play me anyways. He's talking about some buy into the system. And he's talking about I'm not going to play till junior year when he promised me I was going to get my chance to shine. I'm going to just go over here to Florida. I'm going to just go over here to Oklahoma State. I'm going to just go over here to BYU and ball out and do my thing, which as a young athlete, hey, if that's what you feel is best for you, do your thing, King. Do your thing. I'm not going to stop you. But I feel as though that mindset and that idea had a time and place, but I don't know if it's going to survive now. Now, if there's anybody who can make it work or bring it back, who can make it work or at least bring it's Bill. Because I can't deny the man's a great coach. If there's anybody who can bring that mindset back to coaching and getting kids to buy into a system in collegiate football like that, rather than just immediately running away and transferring. And I know not everybody runs away when they transfer. Some transfer for good reasons, family reasons, so on and so forth. I'm not talking about them kids. I'm talking about the kids who legit feel entitled and transfer just because they didn't get their way.
And like, and no, and I don't doubt, and I agree. Like, he's gonna lose some guys every year because it's just gonna happen. I think the upside is, yeah, he's still gonna have to go into the portal to find some experience in the portal. It's just gonna have to happen. But I think the best part about what he's probably going to do is, yeah, though I'm having to bring experience in, is still a competition with the guys that are here.
Yeah.
Like the level of competition and the level of opportunity that you can get through this competition, even with the experience coming in, doesn't change. If you were a sophomore this past year sitting behind a senior or sitting behind a senior and a junior and both of them left, then no, your opportunity to be the starter is still the same, even if I bring in another junior or another senior from somewhere else. Because at the end of the day, you still know the playbook better than them. They still have to learn it and get adapted to it. But if you don't make the most,
you should know the playbook better.
You should know it better. But if you don't make the most of your opportunities, then yeah, he's gonna admit he does. Then he's just gonna beat you out for the spot.
But we also know the politics in certain things. And sometimes when they bring in a certain transfer, even if he doesn't know the playbook better, because of who he is or the connection you have or how that coach views said person, how coach views said person, they may automatically just go ahead and give bro the start. Because one thing they always talk about is like, oh, hey, as soon as the transfer comes in or somebody new, all right, just want to reiterate, everybody's going to have to earn their spot out here. Nothing is given. As soon as you hear a coach say that, whoever the new kid, whatever position the new kid is coming in, the previous starter just lost it.
And it's terrible. And to be honest, and I think the upside in Bill's favor, and the upside for Bill is a lot of the players have had very good, like very high talk about it. Like they talk very highly of him. Because talking with, let's see, from Christo Kelly said, I mean, maybe at first when you see him, because people asked him, it's like it's intimidating. He's like, maybe when you first see him, all you see is the Super Bowls that he's won. But when you get here and you see the way he cares, you see the way that he approaches the game, you see how hard he works, there's no question why he has the success he has. Attention to detail, the emphasis on fundamentals, and really great, and really just kind of creating competition for the guys. That's what's getting built here. Guys are embracing it. He treats everybody with tremendous respect, and it's been great. Thad Dixon has said, I really just wanted the opportunity to learn from somebody like that he had that had did it in the league for so long. You got, let's see here. He said, sometimes when Belichick's dropped the business facade, exposing an unexpectedly humorous side. So I feel like the biggest curveball, you're coming to the first meeting, you're expecting it to be a serious, 100% locked in, and this is coming from Ship.
So yeah, it'll be.
He said he comes in and he introduces himself and then he busts a joke. That's the second thing he said. So Hardy pointed out that vibe too. So there are times he'll just crack a joke out of nowhere, and just him being kind of monotone sometimes will make those jokes so funny, which I agree with. Because monotone.
I guarantee Bill Belichick is probably hilarious. I have a feeling Bill Belichick is very hilarious, and he unintentionally has great comedic timing. I feel like he does.
Oh yeah, and somebody said still noted it. It said Hardy even noted is mingled amid the work, such as film sessions when there's no hiding when Bill highlights a mistake. So I loved having one-on-one conversations with him. It's cool to see and meet him personally because you grow up and see him on TV and everything. And he's just a completely different coach and the guy when you get to be around him all day, and it's cool. So, I think that's going to help him out in the long run, especially with keeping some guys there. If he continues to have the impact that he has now, then you won't really have to worry about too much turnaround. Like you're going to have it regardless, because there are going to be some guys that want to leave for one reason or another. But I think that he's going to have more guys buying in and wanting to stay, similar to how Dabo has a lot of guys at Clemson wanting to stay and not transfer out.
True. And another thing, because he's made these big adjustments and whatnot, we got to look at, I came across the article, man, and it was talking about the history for UNC coaches in their first year. And Listen. This is actually this goes back to 1966. This list, right?
Ugh.
Crazy enough, Carolina has only had 8 coaches in college football since 1966. That's wild. That is since my father has been born and I have been born.
Yeah.
They have only had 8, no, counting Bill now, 9 head coaches.
And from the looks of it, conference-wise, they haven't done terribly.
Conference,
Could have been
so
better in some places.
yeah, so
especially one.
for those of you who were curious, first coach Bill Dooley, coached from 66 to 77. His first season, the man went 2-8. 2-8 overall, 2-5 in the ACC. After him, Dick Crumbs. Yes, I'm giving y'all a history lesson, you young kids. To get your notepads out, get the pen and paper, like get everything. Get the easel if you got to. But yeah, the easel. You know how real it is when I don't even say whiteboard, I said the easel.
Not the easel.
You got Dick Crumb, Richard Crumb. I hope his name
His name was probably Dick.
Possibly.
It's
just the time. 1978 to 87. His first season, he went 5-6 overall, 3-3 in the ACC. Mac Brown's first stint. I don't know why it says Bunting twice. That's at the end. That's Mac Brown's second stint. There we go. That was the second stint. But Mac Brown's first stint, he went 1-10 in his first season. And 1-6 in the ACC. Then Carl Torbush, he went from 98 to 2000. Oh yeah, Matt Brown was 88 to 97. Carl Torbush, 98 to 2000, 7-5 his first season. He's actually the first winning season for a UNC coach to have in their first year.
5-3 in the ACC.
And 5-3 in the ACC.
So like he only lost 4 games. He only lost 2 games outside of
outside of conference. John Bunting, after him, came in 2001 to 2006. He went 8-5 in his first season, 5-3 in the ACC. So he too only lost 2 games outside of conference. Butch Davis, after Bunting, he went from 07 to 2010. He went 4-8 in his first year, 3-5 in the ACC. Then you had Larry Fedora from 2012 to 2018. He went 8-4, actually sporting the best overall record because he had 1 less loss than
the conference play.
Yep. And lastly, Mac Brown's second stint, he went from 2019 to 2024. He went 7-6 in his first year and was 4-4 in the ACC. And the average record, adding all that up, dividing it up by the people, average record 5-6. So a little below 500. All right, Bill. That's your record, Bill. That's your thing. You have to get at least
2 wins over 500.
At minimum, you got to tie the average. You got to tie the average.
You got to tie the average at least.
You got to tie the average, bro. I can't do it. I can't do it. But yeah, what do you think about that history, man? Like, not gonna lie, I was actually really shocked that we only had.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I definitely was like, oh.
The other thing I was shocked that most of them, up until Torbush, had dang near 10-year careers.
That's what I'm saying.
At least almost 9 years.
Hey, it was a different time. They said, you know what? We'll give you time to develop as a coach. We understand that you ain't gonna be able to turn around. Nowadays, the instant microwave society that we have become,
you got 3 seasons to get together.
You got 3 seasons at max.
I'm about to say, to be honest, you got a season and a half to get this together.
Like, you got 3 seasons at max to have us in a bowl.
A year and a half
to have us in a bowl game. You have 3 seasons to at least win 1 bowl game. But you got to be above 500 and win at least 1 bowl game,
or at least to get invited, or be close. Get invited.
Because if
I
you
better,
not,
I
you
better
go.
sniff a bowl. I better be able to sniff a bowl game off my.
The Pop-Tart bowl better be right up on my upper lip.
It better be. I better be smelling wild berry pop.
Like right on my upper lip. Like it better be there. But overall, I was like, oh, this is kind of crazy, in my personal opinion.
So before we get into the offer sheets this week,
Yeah.
so Bill had an interview this week, basically, just kind of seeing like getting a June update on the team and
Oh, you talking about the preseason presser?
The preseason pressure. And at one point they did ask him about Gio Lopez.
Okay.
And to which he responded with, Gio was really productive at South Alabama. He's a dual threat quarterback. He's had plenty of production yardage in both running game and passing game experience. Tough kid, played well against some good competition teams like LSU. So it looks like he's definitely ready for this level, and we're excited to work with him as we are with everybody. And they go to kind of point out like last season threw for 2,500 yards, 18 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Finished the season with 150.8 QB rating and a 66 completion percentage, averaging 8.2 yards per throw on a mid-major squad. He said Lopez will now enter a Power 4 territory and could have the opportunity to be the first starting quarterback under the Bill Belichick era. There is still plenty of practice to go between now and the opening kickoff against TCU. The other thing about that,
if Gio Lopez,
so they did ask about the Gio situation, and when they did ask about it, told him he was good and play at that level. He said we also got some freshmen. We've got Max, who's got some experience, and Gio. We'll see how it plays out. Honestly, none of them, with the exception of Max, for a handful of plays last year, none of them have really taken any snaps here. So it'll be good to see how that all plays out. Because they also asked like where's Max's recovery looking like, and he's saying he's doing good. So we'll see. So we might see him come start a season. We might not. But
if Gio Lopez manages to take the starting spot from Max and Bryce, I would actually be shocked, but I would also applaud it because that just shows his work ethic and how much he's done, especially coming from South Alabama.
If Gio gets it, wonderful. Like good for him. He beat out. And what I would really hope it happens is like he's not getting it based off of Max just being hurt and not being able to play.
Oh yeah, I want Max 100%. Like if Gio wins it, I want Max to win it. If Gio gets that starting job, I want it because he flat out beat Max, not because Max is
let's say
not because Max is injured and Bryce is too young.
Because let's say Max is out week 1, week 2, week 3, but he's good. But he'll be eligible, good to go week 4, week 5.
If they're 3-0, I'm keeping Gio in.
I'm about to say if they're 3-0, if they have a winning record out of those first 3 games, I want to keep Gio in.
Right.
But if the competition comes down to week 4, week 5, like let's say Gio had a rough game week 4, and Max is looking great come week 5. If the competition that week shows that Max was just outright doing better than him, and Max is the guy to go to, then put Max back in. But you have to have a flat out competition that proves that yes, this is absolutely who won. This is the absolute starter we gotta have. Period.
Who's the big dog?
Man.
You're an orb baby.
You're an orb baby.
No. But you ready to get into this weekly offer sheet, man?
Weekly offer sheets.
Woo! So, for those of you who don't know, weekly offer sheet this past week, and I was right. So I actually when I found it, they did admit that they did not put up a weekly offer sheet last week. So I wasn't crazy in my research. The website I used, they were like, yeah, we didn't put one up last week. So shout out to me for not thinking I went crazy.
Congratulations for being right. I mean, can't go where you already been. Anyway.
Woo!
So you can't go where you reside.
But first one, and he did have his visit last week as well. Keon Chapman, 6'5" receiver, 6'5", 215-pound receiver who has 4 stars. That is, again, we talked about him. That's a big dude. Then You got Brody Smith, Bills tight, 6'6", 255-pound offensive, 3-star offensive tackle. You have Koshi Barnes, a 6'3", 190-pound cornerback who doesn't have any stars. I ain't gonna lie, 6'3" at corner he must be a safety. I low-key think he a safety because 6'3" at corner, and I get they're going to bigger corners nowadays, but like you usually don't see a 6'3" corner that often.
I'm about to say no, he's an outside corner, probably like a slot, like a combo slot,
like
safety or something like that.
Then you got Jabari. Then you got Jabari Watkins, a 6'2", 185-pound 4-star athlete. That boy dangerous. If you are a 4-star athlete, I know you're a problem. Like you don't even got a position. They just say go somewhere.
It's like, you know what? Just either get the ball or take the ball away. Do one of
the things. We'll just throw you in there. Then you have King Liggins, a 6'4", 280-pound 3-star defensive tackle who has actually already verbally committed to Illinois as of May 21st, but we all know how these verbal commits have gone. Because think about it, Amari Johnson just decommitted from us after giving a verbal commit earlier this year, so we know how the verbal commit game can go.
Indeed.
Then there's Charles. You got the rest of them?
Oh, no, you go ahead. I'll get the new commits.
Gotcha. Oh, fun fact about the new commits. I'll tell you when you get there. Right. Then you got Charles Britton, 6 foot wide, 6 foot, 170-pound, 3-star wide receiver. Nakir Helton, a 6 foot, 180-pound, 3-star athlete. Then Elijah Kimball, a 5'10", 185-pound, 4-star corner. See, that's what I'm used to seeing corners, like 5'10", 5'11", 6 feet. That's what I'm used to seeing a corner at.
That's a slot corner there.
Yeah. And then you have Xavier Jackson, a 6'2", 290-pound, 3-star corner doing his thing. And that is your weekly offer sheet. And fun fact about the commits, they are twins.
So new commits of the 2026 class. We got Xavion Griffin Hayes, edge rusher, 6'6", 235 pounds, 4-star out of Rolesville, North Carolina. 19th player overall in North Carolina, 36th edge rusher in the country, and 339th player in the country. Had offers from Florida State, North Carolina State, Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, Auburn, Duke, Florida, and so forth. So basically every big name you grew up with in NCAA. Just about, barring Miami. Then coming in behind him, his twin brother.
Yep, twin brother.
Jaden Griffin Haynes, linebacker, 6'3", 200 pounds, 3-star out of Rolesville, North Carolina. Ranking 40th player in North Carolina, 79th linebacker in the country, and 959th player in the country. Had offers from Florida State, ECU, Florida, Louisville, NC State, Texas A&M, and so forth. Once again, most of the big names that you knew of in NCAA 2010. So,
not specifically 2010, specifically 2010.
There were no, and followed up, there are no transfer portal updates. I did see recently Jordan Shipp had, because it looks like he decided not to transfer out of North Carolina, so he will stay.
Oh, he rescinded his?
Yeah, had a recent press conference basically saying it's hard to leave a school that you love so much, and it's hard to leave the greatest coach of all time. So he also talked about how they also added Coach McGee as a positions coach. He just felt like it just wasn't the right move. So he will stick around. Because he also did have one of the players that also had some pretty high praise for Belichick and his coaching style and how he is as an individual. So it's good. So no, it's good to see one of the veteran guys wanting to stay, because that's going to help out. That's really going to help out with what Bill's trying to do, and transitioning in from the newer guys coming in on top of that. So like, having a veteran presence is a big deal in a lot of ways.
For sure. And think about one thing I will say, crazy enough, and this is about the Griffin Hayes brothers. So Xavier had his official visit this past last weekend when that list of people who went out there, Xavier was on that list. And I want to say his brother Jaden was there with him. Like their mom was there, brother Jaden was there too. And that's when I think UNC also offered to Jaden. And it's like they both went there and then they decided to commit. And I'm like, that is a smart play. That was a smart play to get a pair of twin brothers at the same, like to go to the same school.
Because to be honest, the crazy thing about that is I actually just came across another article earlier where South Carolina just got a couple of twin commits just recently. So I mean, it's if you can get a 2-for-1, why not?
Keep it all in the family. Mom ain't got to travel all over the country to see her babies. She can go right there.
Babies regardless, but
I mean, she ain't got to sit there and be in a dilemma of like, oh, I got one baby that played at Ohio State, or one baby played at Syracuse, another baby played at North Carolina, and they both got a game on October 13th. How am I making both games?
I ain't got to pick and choose games now. I can just go to the game.
Whatever game they go to, I know I can go. Now, what she will have to do,
she's gonna raise Kane and one of them transfer.
Yeah. Oh, listen, I think I ain't gonna front. I ain't gonna front. I think if one of them transfers, she gonna be one of the first ones to be like, so you gonna make me spend all my money having to chase your tail all around the country.
She's gonna be first of all, boy, what the hell?
Why I got to go around the country?
Where you going to? Why ain't you going with him?
Hey, what little fast girl you chasing?
Not even that.
What little fast girl you chasing, huh?
Well, you done fell and bumped your head.
And I think it's going to be – now, the real issue is, and you know she's going to run into this, and she's probably running into this just because they're twins and they played football together. One getting playing time and one not getting playing time. And I'm not saying it's going to be a huge – I'm not saying it's going to be a huge issue, but you know you're going to have one coming home. Yeah, Mom, it was great. I did all this, that, and the third. And then you got the other one in the other side of the room.
What you do? Well, I was on kickoff.
I was on kickoff. I didn't do nothing. Or he just mad, man. Coach sucks. Coach don't see me like that. Da-da-da-da. While the one brother's like, man, Coach is so great. Coach does this, that, and the third.
Because looking at
especially if they're roommates.
Especially the roommate. Like, but looking at both of them, it's like, I can understand it because one, from the looks of what we see here, Jaden isn't the better of the two.
Oh no, like I wish I was looking for their stats, but they didn't have them on like On3 or 24/7 because I was trying to find their stats to be like, all right, what have y'all been doing?
But even then, looking at it a whole nother way though. Once again, we already have pointed out that the stars don't mean nothing.
Oh no.
Even the pros have said like when you get ranked 4-star, 3-star, all that, none of that means anything. It does help you. It does help you with getting recruited to bigger schools, but overall, it doesn't.
It gets you recognition, but you have to prove yourself once you get there because you could be a 4-star out of high school and get roasted by a no-star walk-on.
I think your phone ringing.
Oh, yep. 10:15. There you go. Appreciate you.
So basically, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, but what can, just like you said, at the end of the day, what can you prove on the field at the end of the day? If you can prove that you're a 3-star player, okay, then a lot of people will shut up about it. But if you go out ranked as a 3-star, but play better but play like you a 4 and 5, then what we talk about? Then it means that somebody wasn't paying attention. So
you will get roasted.
Exactly. Somebody wasn't paying attention. But what's going on with this these golf stars though?
Oh yeah, bro. Like, hold up. So big shout out to UNC golf stars Megan Stryker and David Ford, man. Big shout out to them. So Megan, she was actually named Golf Week's All-American. She was named as an honorable mention for the All-American team by Golf Week for college golf. And she just became the first Carolina women's golfer to earn All-American honors in 5 years. She had a phenomenal season, setting records for like I think like single round and all single season strokes and things of that nature. Like at a 72. At a
Nice.
72. So she was honestly most golf courses I know when you do tournaments like 72 is right at par. So she was able to hold par for most of the year and whatnot,
wow.
which is great. And then David Ford, man, oh man, oh man. Dude was named Golf Week's National Player of the Year, first time in UNC history. He was the Fred Haskins Award winner, which is given to the National Player of the Year. He was also the Jack Nicklaus National Player of the Year, first in UNC history. And this is the second straight year this man was the first team All-American, which is the first time for UNC to have a guy win 2 straight All-Americans. He was also the ACC Player of the Year for the second straight year in a row. David Ford put on a phenomenal senior season. He actually has a bunch of more accolades. Bro had a balling out senior year. So shout out to him. Shout out to all the golf stars and whatnot doing their thing because, collegiate golf don't get the love, just like collegiate journalism didn't get the love, just like bro, there are so many collegiate sports out here that don't get the love they deserve. Shoot, I didn't even know they had 3 different awards for Golf Player of the Year. That's one thing I will say. This podcast has helped me learn about other aspects of the Tar Heels. And granted, I know the Tar Heels have a bunch of teams. I know we have a bunch of different organizations, but myself, one, did like my co-host, I didn't know there was a journalism like collegiate award and collegiate team.
I didn't even know Jack Nicklaus had an award. Or Fred Haskins.
I didn't know Jack Nicklaus had an award for college.
That's what I'm saying.
I didn't know Fred.
That seems like a professional thing that you would have got.
Right. I would
pro-am.
Like Jack Nicklaus Player of the Year. I could have seen that for like pro golf. I'm surprised that's not a pro golf award. To be truthful, like I am very surprised by that. So, and then Golf Week's National Player of the Year. So, I mean, bro, when it comes down to it, we're always going to highlight UNC successes around here. If we can, we're always going to make sure to give them their praise and their love and do their thing because at the end of the day, we still Tar Heels. We still one nation, and I love it. But yeah, bro, that was man's put up a clinic, and that's a great way to go out. That's a great way to go out. Like, if you're a senior, would you, truth be told, go back to your college days. Would you rather have won all your accolades like your freshman year, or would you rather have done it your senior year?
I would have rather done it my senior year. Now, depending on what the accolades were my freshman year, I'd have been happy about them. But now I'd rather have gone out with more accolades going out. Because people are going to remember the accolades more often. Like, people are going to remember the senior ones more than they're going to remember the freshman ones.
I wanted my senior year, but I wanted for a different reason. The precedent that sets. Because if I win all these awards my freshman year, I have to maintain that for all 4 years. And if I don't maintain that,
nobody expects you.
They're going to deem this.
Expect you to maintain.
Like if I don't maintain that, they're going to call my season a failure, regardless of how good it was. Like, for example, baseball, right? Let's say I'm a pitcher and I win Player of the Year by pitching a 1.9 ERA. The very next year, I pitch a 2.1 ERA or 2.01, which is damn near the same thing. But I don't win National Player of the Year. Regardless of it, even if I had more strikeouts, I have more innings pitched, I had a better strikeout to walk ratio. But because I don't win National Player of the Year, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, he won National Player of the Year his freshman year. His sophomore year, his ERA went up just a little bit. So obviously he's dropping off. Obviously he's not that guy. But if you have that constant gradual journey of I'm getting better each year, and then senior year, you win all the accolades and you're like the best player in the country, it shows that you kind of grew into this dominant force. Even though you always could have been that guy, it just shows the progress and the work and that you put in the effort to be like, I'm always going to push myself to get better. Right. I only get better with time. You got to be like fine wine. You don't want to be a candle that burns twice as bright but half as long. You know what I mean?
Very true.
And then time for some birthdays this week, my boy. So this
shout
week,
out.
Tell them
to wide receiver Alex Taylor, birthday June 11th, coming up tomorrow. And also the offensive lineman Jarvis Hicks, coming up this Friday, June 13th. Hope y'all enjoy it. Hope y'all have a great rest of your week. Y'all stay safe out there.
Blessed. Have a great day, man. Blessed to see another year. It's always a blessing to see a good one. You know what I mean?
Indeed. Now, it's that time of the day.
It's that time of the day? That time of the
night. It's that time.
Is that time?
Tar Heel. Time. No, get out of here. Yeah, get out of here. Time for Tar Heel takeaways. So
you're first this week, sir.
It's me.
I went first last week.
It's me, you say.
Yeah, because I went and watched the last podcast. Hey.
It's me, you say.
Yes.
I don't think it was me. I don't think I did this.
It was you,
Mop. Tar Heel takeaway of the week. Invest in high yield savings accounts. Because boy, when I tell you, when you feel broke and you have a little bit of money and you can put $100 in the savings account and just watch it grow, get you a high yield. Get the one with the high APR on it. Get you the one with the biggest returns. Invest in money market accounts. Invest in high yield savings. Don't listen to them folk that tell you about the life insurance thing. Sure, that may be real, but what we doing? Why are we buying insurance when we can just go ahead, open a bank account for $25 instead of having to buy $200, $300 worth of life insurance? We ain't got time to be buying life insurance for that. We can just go down to the store or down to your local branch, ask them what their money market account APR is. If it's below 3%, walk out. Find another one. Somebody else got one better. Get you a high yield, save that money up, let it roll, let it build on its own. So that way, when you make a lot of money and you decide to be irresponsible with it, then, only then can you appreciate the value of a real dollar, because that APR might save your life.
Oh.
Don't touch your savings. Invest in high yields.
Hey. That man giving away financial advice. He giving away.
My finances is all jacked up.
Ooh. All right, man. Give me that solo cam real quick. All right, youngins.
Whoop.
She gonna kill me.
There was no purpose. This thing
It wasn't. I didn't even know she was there. Okay. But all right, y'all. My Tar Heel takeaway of the week, man. Listen, youngins, stretch. I'm telling you this as an athlete, as your big brother right now. Like, I'm not unk yet, but I'm big bro still. Stretch and enjoy the days that you can just go out and hoop, play the game without stretching at all. But make sure you stretch now, because it's going to bite you in the butt when you get older. This is coming from a guy who is now at 31. And bro, when I tell you, back in the day, I used to just get up, no stretch, run 4-5 games, AAU, no problems, if ands, ups. Now I went 2 days straight where I played soccer one day and basketball game the next. I was in the tub with the Dr. Teal's Epsom salt. Hurting. I'm taking
let me just soak them bunions, is what he's saying.
I am taking my massage gun to my thighs after every practice, after every session. I use Tiger Balm now. Bro, when I tell you, just make sure you stretch. And I'm still very athletic. I'm still very active. But man, I had a thought the other day where I said, these can't be the same legs where I was running 6, 7, 8 games straight in pickup. No hesitation. It can't be the same legs. So when your mileage starts getting up there like a Honda Civic, and make sure you stretch because you will be able to go a lot further than others. I'm definitely in a better spot than some of my compadres, but I'm not. But I could be in a better spot, man. So stretch
Indeed,
and
indeed.
take stretching seriously. When coach tells you we stretching before practice and we warming up, take it seriously on everything, bro. On everything.
Man said on mamas.
On mamas, on grannies, on mamas, on daddies, on bald-headed grannies, bro. Like I'm telling you, am I wrong? Tell me, am I wrong?
No, can't say you're wrong. Can't say that. Can't say that.
Tell me, am I wrong, bro? Like,
I do not stretch. I
and
make
listen,
that mistake.
if you run as much as I do, and he knows how much I be running when I do play sports, you need it, bro. You're gonna need it. You're gonna need it.
I make that mistake every day. Every time I step on the court, I just be out there.
That man just be out there.
Don't stretch, not a lick. Be out there.
Absolutely not. But guys, that is
coming back double Charlie horses.
But guys, that is the end of this episode of North Carolina Tar Heels Live. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bells at the bottom so y'all always know when we're doing this podcast. It is every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Like, it's right there. We tell y'all this. Be here. Hit the link. Join the channel. Leave comments. I'm surprised Beats wasn't here today. Neither was Steve and a few other people. Like, I'm surprised that I don't know.
Steve has dipped out on us in the last 2 weeks. I don't appreciate it.
Right. Steve dipped out after we aired out them last week, I think. I think Steve didn't want to come out last week.
I am going to be on Steve's neck next time I see him.
But guys, y'all know what the deal is. Y'all know what to do. We're available on all platforms: Spotify, Anchor, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Y'all know where to go. And Ricebox, what you got? What you got to say to the people?
Y'all be safe out there in these streets. Remember, save money because life is about to get really weird with all this stuff going on. I don't know. Just make sure that you got your money right, or at least somewhere decent, because my pockets has been bone dry since the Ice Age, and I don't appreciate it.
Get your money up, not your funny up. Peace. Later days. Much love to you, Tar Heel Nation.
See y'all next week. Be there, be square. Stay safe out there. Deuces.
We out.